I am here with Treasured Fitness. Roseanne was a member of Jubilee years ago and originally from Kenya. And her family have moved back to Kenya. And she is doing amazingly big things. And I'm so excited to have you with us at the Dash Takeover and looking forward to learning some things from you. And tell us a little bit about your journey and how you started this company, Treasured Fitness.
So thank you so much, Pastor Muno, for having me. I mean, it's a true honor for me to be here, just to empower and help as many people. I am truly honored that you thought of me to be here, and I thank you so much. So my journey really started back in 2005, 6. It was really one of those days I'd gone for a physical exam, and I'm one of those people who's very religious who's going to see my doctor. So I'd done that for years. So this was just a routine checkup. So I went to see my doctor. And when I went to see my doctor, I got a call back. And when he called me back, he said, Roseanne, I need to see you in my office in Lowell. Because what we've seen, there's a number that we don't like the trajectory it's headed in. And so when I went to see my doctor, he basically said, Roseanne, your cholesterol numbers are high. Now, Pastor Mona, I want you to understand this. I was in my 20s. I remember thinking, who gets cholesterol in their 20s? At that moment, in my head, I thought cholesterol was an old man's disease. That's what I thought. And I also thought the next thing was, if it's an old man's disease, usually what happens is you get a heart attack and you die. So at that moment, I was so scared because to me, what I heard and what I got was a death sentence. That is what I heard. Now, in that process, throughout that whole journey, I'd obviously gained weight. My knees would hurt, especially when I was walking up the stairs. I like to wear high heels. So I remember wearing them. I could literally feel like I was carrying something extra. My knees were hurting. I remember just my energy being very low. I remember just being lethargic. My mood's just been all over the place. But just getting that diagnosis was really the first time, like it hit and it clicked.
Now,
and I remember
let me ask a question. Did you have your children at the time? Did you already have your daughters?
Yes, we did have Jada. At that time, we had Jada. So that's the only one that we had. And so I remember also thinking, it's sort of like a new marriage. We'd be married for 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, we'd be married for 2 years. So we did have Jada at that moment. And so he gives me a 3-page paper and he says, here's the information. I want to see you back in 3 months. And in 3 months, we want to make sure that your numbers are down. So now I remember thinking, how did you just give me a 3-page paper? But what you've given me is such grave news. So what I did, Pastor Mona, was I went and actually started doing a lot of research. Law library, got books on, believe me, heart attacks. How do I get rid of all this? But really what I did was, after 3 months, the first thing that I read with having high cholesterol, what they talked about, you got to remove hydrogenated oils. Now, I'm an educated woman, but at that point, I did not know what hydrogenated oils were. And so what I ended up doing was literally granular level, trying to understand, okay, what does this mean? Remove hydrogenated oils. What are those oils? As soon as I would see all that, I would go into my pantry, look what I have that was hydrogenated. Fast forward, it said add fiber. I was like, okay, what is fiber? I mean, I was that ignorant when it comes to all matters nutrition. So I educated myself. I learned a lot. And then after 3 months, going back to see my doctor, he tells me my numbers have come down.
Wow.
Now, at that moment, I remember thinking, like, how quickly do numbers come? Like, how quickly does the body change? And something else was opened up on the inside of me. I got to understand more. Like, I need to know more. And honestly, that is how my journey started. I started reading more about nutrition. I really started understanding how my body works. In that whole process, I think at that point, we had another baby. So it's a journey. So it didn't happen overnight. This had been a journey. We had another baby, Eva. She came the year after. They're Irish twins.
Yeah. Now, did anyone in your family have high cholesterol?
So consequently, we have actually learned, yes, my father's side of the family, there's a history of high cholesterol. And the beauty of it, Pastor Muna, now what I've also learned is if I continued in that trajectory, obviously I would have continued. God only knows what would have happened. We do have, family history of high cholesterol, even very close family members. So that is, it is in our family. But the thing is, because I've completely changed my lifestyle, and because now what I do is I lost a lot of weight. My numbers have been down. Every year when I go to see the doctor, Pastor Mona, the first thing I ask, how are my cholesterol numbers? I don't, how when you get so hit, like that number just stays there, and they've been down since. So I know I'm good, and I know I'm okay. And the whole idea, what I'm looking to do is I want to stop this, my generation. I don't want this to pass on to my kids. And I'm passing on this knowledge of lifestyle living to my children. But not just that. What I'm also doing now is because I've seen the change that can happen in my family. I became a certified nutrition coach, because now what I want to do is I want to help other women. And the reason I focus a lot on women is because I know the power a woman has.
Yes.
I know the power that you have in your home. You're the one who decides what the family is eating. You're the one who decides. You're sort of like the CEO of your household, right? Which means you have a lot of power. So if I empower a woman, guess what she's going to do? She's going to empower her family. So when I change that one woman's life, I know for sure I am changing another woman's life. Now, let me give you a quick story, Pastor Mona. So one of my best friends moving back to Kenya, her name's Jemima. Now, Jemima, we started coaching her and I started helping her, and we'd go for sports days. So our kids go to the same school. We'd go for sports days, and during sports days, I would see the snacks her kids are having. She shared this story yesterday with everybody, so she's okay with me sharing this story. And the kids would have, there's a snack in Kenya. It's actually fried dough. So we call it mandazi. Okay, It's called mandazi. It's much smaller, but it's deep fried.
Right, it's still
wheat
fried.
Yes, So that's what the kids would have for snack at school for sports day. Now, last year when we went for sports day, her son was asking for an apple. I was seated next to her, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God!" Like that for me. I just felt, okay, my work is done, because I had changed her life. Her lifestyle had completely changed. She was good.
Yes.
So, Pastor Mona, that has been in a nutshell, because I could go on and on and on.
Okay, so take us, you're in the States, you move back home, and back home to Kenya, and you start Treasured Fitness. And what is...
Actually, sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
so
Pastor.
So tell us the journey, because I think, for women because a lot of times as women, we go through something, and as we go through it, it empowers us to help others. So you go through this journey of high cholesterol, you completely switch the way that you eat, and it leads you to Treasured Fitness. So
Correct.
So you talked about how it led you there, and how empowering, one woman, as you told that story. That's a beautiful story, where her child one year was eating fried dough, and the next year is now eating a delicious apple full of fiber, right? So So how would you share how you got from there to Treasured Fitness?
Okay, so what happened was I'd left corporate work after we had our kids, and I was actually staying home with the kids. So I thank God for that. We always thank God for that opportunity that Peter who's my husband, was able to sustain us as I stayed home. Then we opened up a coffee business. And I remember when we opened up a coffee business, I was helping him run that coffee business. So I was sort of doing the administration work, I was doing the back end stuff. Then we ended up selling that coffee business. Now, it turned out I needed to go back to work. But around this time, I had worked so much on myself. And I remember telling Peter, you know what? I don't want to go back to work, because I feel like I'll do the same thing. So I used to be the regional director at a nonprofit organization. And I used to report to the assistant vice president. And I remember telling Peter, I feel like I know her job. And it's one of those, you sort of feel like, okay, that's the ceiling. And I felt like I needed to grow, right? So he tells me, and I remember very well, we were sitting on the dining table, and he tells me, Shiko is my name, Shiko. All you do is talk about nutrition and fitness. Why don't you do that for work? And so I remember telling him, but I enjoy it. I love it. right? So
Yeah.
you know where I'm
Yes.
headed. So he
Yes.
looks at me cross-eyed. He's like, that is what you need to be doing.
Right.
And so what he said, he actually suggested this to me. He said, why don't you try one summer, get a couple of women, train them, see if it's something you'd be interested in. And so in Lowell, what's the name of that park? Did I get me the name of that park? I'll try and remember that park. I started with my two sisters one day. The next day, my two sisters brought their two friends. So there was 4 women. By the end of that summer, I had 28 women that I was coaching.
See,
And this
can we stay right there for a second?
yes,
Because this is something that I say to women all the time that are searching for their purpose. You said it. You said, it's what I love. And he said, yes. And you were like, no, 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 but it's what I love. And now you
yes.
start with 2, then 4. By the end of the summer, you're at 28 women doing what you love. And
Imagine that.
how what was their response? Obviously, because it kept growing. What was their response? What were
Yes.
you seeing in those women?
So 2 things. Number one, not only were their bodies changing, but there was 4 women who came to me who had lifestyle diseases. So I was actually teaching them. I was like, okay, you got to change your nutrition. You got to do this and the other. 2 of them come back within a month because we did that from, I believe it was June through September. They come back and they say, oh my God, Roseanne, the doctors have started reducing my medication. That for me is, I'm telling you, it's like something burst on the inside. And I was like, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. So that's what now we started doing. What was your question?
No,
Is
you're
that what you
answering it.
asked?
Yes, you're answering it.
Okay, and so that is what happened. So I found these 2 women who dropped off their insulin. So their doctor started reducing their medication. They to this day they're off of medication, and that is really how the journey started. So this for me confirmed this is exactly what I needed to be doing. And so with this now confirmed, I literally, and by the way, when I was coaching these women, it was all for free because I was like, let me try this out. I have changed my lifestyle. I want to see how this is going to help you. And if it's something that I want, but seeing that it had helped them and it changed their lives, then I went back and became a certified fitness and nutrition coach. After I became a certified coach, I registered my company in Lowell. And then those women, they all came. Can I tell you, there's a group that's called Women of Hope. Now, two of those women, two of those women who had I always get so I because they literally came in droves. So when I started my company, the entire group came and joined, and that's how I started the company.
This is a good emotion to feel. You're gonna make me cry my lashes off.
I know I definitely wasn't expecting that, but they came and they paid me. So you have to imagine, I started coaching them for free, but because of their results and what was happening, they told all these women, "Come on, guys, let's go do this," and that's how they started my company. Can I tell you this? So Peter was like, "Okay, I need to buy dumbbells. I need to buy whatnot." In a month, we took $5,000 from our savings, and I was able to pay him back put it back into our money within a month.
Wow.
Within 1 month, because these women, because of just the support that they got. So that is how the journey started. And so slowly we started growing the company. And then so in 2015, you know the story, my husband got poached, and so we were moving back to Kenya.
Yes.
Now, when we found that we're moving back to Kenya, Treasure Fitness had really grown at that point. We're actually in the process of looking for a bigger location where to go. And I remember one weekend, Peter had come to Kenya for an interview, for a weekend interview. I remember taking the girls, had my friend take the girls over because it was moving a little fast, and I could see I could just feel the excitement in his voice. I could see we were headed back here. And I felt like I was at a crossroads. And I remember taking that weekend to pray. And in that entire weekend, all I did was seek God and say, I need you to help me because right now I'm at a crossroads. I don't know what to do with these clients that I have here in Lowell. You're calling me to move back to Kenya and literally start from scratch. I have been out of Kenya for over 20 years because we were in America for 21 years. And I came to America as a teenager. So I'm moving back. I have no friends. We are starting from the bottom and I'm building myself up. And so I felt a peace. So what we had done is we wrote down a list of pros and cons of moving versus staying. And I really felt we needed to move. But in terms of us coming back, what are the kids going to do? How's the business going to continue? I put it on God. And so this was my prayer, Pastor Mona. I want you to hear me. I said, God, now that you've told us to move back to Kenya, I want you to connect me. The word was connection. That was the only word that I felt. And I prayed that word, connect. So we moved back to Kenya. And do you mind, continue?
Yep. You have a few minutes, yep.
Okay,
yep.
So we moved back to Kenya, and I'm in school, we're seated at a park watching our girls playing, and I'm sitting next to a girl, her name's Marina. And as I'm sitting next to her, she asks me my story. I say, oh yeah, we've moved back from Boston. How long have you been here in Kenya? I'm like, oh, we've been just here a couple of months. And as we're chatting, it turns out she's very into nutrition. She's very into working out and fitness. And so we have that connection. She then invites me over for dinner at a friend's house. And in this dinner, I get to meet all these, a bunch of women. Marina and I start working out in school. She likes to run. I don't like to run. I like to lift weights. She doesn't like. So we traded. So she would teach me to run and vice versa. And what happened was in school, the same thing. Remember how it happened in Boston?
Yes.
We started with 2, then there was 3, then there was 5, and the group started growing that way. And the women I was connected with, unbeknownst to me, that is how God works. He connected me. I could count there were 4 women, but these 4 women have helped me when we're back in Kenya. And that is how in my head, I thought God would connect me to all these different people. No, it was just these 4 women, Jemima being one of them, Marina being another. There's several, those 4 women, and they've each just opened up their circuits and their networks, and I've just seen God. And that's really how the business has grown.
Wow.
And now being in Kenya, I'm thankful because we are now impacting thousands of women here. So
yes.
Thank you.
So you just had an event in Kenya, and can you just, because I think the powerful thing about your story that will touch women is that you're doing what you love, you educated yourself on it, you're passionate about it, obviously, because just the group of women that are still here being impacted by what you did years ago, and now you're in Kenya doing the same thing. What would you tell women in terms of moving forward? You said connection, and connection is one thing, but what is it that gives you the drive to continue?
The drive to continue. I'll tell you what it is. Number one, the vision is very clear in my head. I know for sure I want to continue to do this and help women just become the best versions of themselves, become healthy so that they can impact their families. That is extremely clear. The next vision that I have in my head is I really want to be able, this is my next prayer, for God to open up to win my territory, really, so that I can be able to employ young adults. That is the next phase that I am at. I have a team that I work with, a small team, but a lot of young people who have great talent don't have jobs. I actually shared this with my Bible study on Sunday, and I said, because prayer time, I was like, this is what I want you guys to pray for me. I was like, I'm just gonna put it out there. It's big for me, it's scary, but really this is what I feel it with all my being, that for God to open up and help other women. It's not for me. I feel like this is beyond me. I want to really, God, help me build this company so big that we build we're able to employ people so that they can now be able to help themselves. That's where I am at. And that's the vision that I have for Treasure Fitness.
That's amazing. Can you give women your top 5 tips in terms of eating? And what are your top 5 things that you could tell the women that are listening today that they could start right now?
Okay. The number one thing is drop off your sugars. That is the one thing I'm actually becoming known for. I've always been very passionate about it. Drop off your sugars, artificial sweeteners, take off any juices, any sodas, anything that is artificial, anything that comes in a box, processed foods, please take them out. That is number one. So sugar would be the number one thing. Number two, I want you to drink a lot of water. Our bodies are primarily made up of water. It's 50 to 60 to 70.
And we froze.
If you can also do sparkling water, add some lime in it, add lemons in it. So add water in that. That's number two. Number three, I'd encourage you to please make sure half of your plate has vegetables, because vegetables are life. I want you to think of vegetables as fertilizer. So I want you to think of your body and the internal environment in your body as soil, right? And I want you to think of our muscles and everything else as the roots and the trees that are growing, okay? So what you put in your body is fertilizer. So I want us to fertilize this body with a lot of whole foods. So when you're looking at your plate, I want you to ask yourself a question. Is this whole foods? Is this from a garden? Is this something that my grandmother would have eaten? That is the question that I want you to ask yourself, okay? Number four, I am actually about moderation. So I don't say do not eat everything. I practice and I preach moderation, because I do recognize we do have some things that we've grown up with. There's some habits we've grown up with. Maybe they remind us of, like Thanksgiving, the sweet potato pie. Like, I love that stuff. So moderation is good. Interestingly, my kids made mac and cheese the other day, and I said, this is fantastic. I actually want you to have this, but just don't have it every single day. So moderation would be the other thing. Then the last thing that I want you to do when it comes to your body, this is how I want you to think about it. So my company is Treasure Fitness. The way my tagline is, you've got one life, you've got one body, I want you to treasure it. And so when you look at your plate, I want you to think, what am I putting in my body? Is this like a diamond that I'm putting in? You know how we all love our jewelry? Yes. We love good stuff. I want us to look at food as, okay, what is it that I'm feeding my body? And those are the 5 things that I really want you to think about when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to your body. It's really a holistic approach. Don't deny yourself, but most of the time, focus on whole foods. Most of that time, and you'll be just fine.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're a part of this day. This is like the icing on the cake for our working out. We have a segment with one of our chefs, and we really needed to. I think your story is such a great combination story of walking in your purpose. And your purpose being as plain as the nose on your face, doing what you love, but also empowering others so that they can be well. And I love the last part of your story, which is making sure that you're leaving legacy for the next generation. And, a lot of times when we're doing things, it's really not just for us, but it's for the world at large. And so I just want to thank you for all that you do, for tuning in. I know it's late in Kenya, but I am certain that someone listening is going to be so empowered to do what they love, and even to look at what they love and say, I could do this for work. And they can follow your footsteps. So thank you so much. It's so good seeing you. And you know what? The thing is that it's so true, because when we were in Kenya and we all went out to eat, remember how you were you were looking at Peter like, would you like this? And Peter was...
No, I was not, Pastor Mona.
Yes, you were. Peter was like, okay, yeah, I should eat this now. But you walk what you talk, and so we appreciate it. When you guys were here, we loved your company, the tea, the coffee, so good. We were sad when you guys moved back, but, we have a place to visit.
And we're looking forward to seeing you. You have a place here in Kenya. Yes. I want you to know that.
Next time we come back, we'll be there longer. We
I
only
love
got
it.
to have
Yes.
dinner, but
Yes.
next time, yes. So thank you so much. Treasured Fitness, we'll make sure we run your Instagram name on the screen, and keep doing the work that you're doing. And it is awesome to watch it on Instagram as well. So
Thank you,
thank
Pastor
you.
Mona.
Thank you.
I thank you so much. And thank you for really just having me be part of this. I am truly honored. I thank you. And please pass my greetings, even from Peter to Pastor Matthew. We
We
are
sure
so
will.
grateful.
And give
Thank
the
you so
girls
much from
virtual
Motherland.
hug. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.